I think so. Got it.
All right, everybody, welcome to Coach's Corner. And this will be our re-inaugural episode because we were doing this before. So I'm going to have different guests on in our industry who specialize in things, tips you can use. So today I have Aimee Oestreigh, and she's with the Wexler Group. She's a realtor, and thanks for coming on, Aimee. And we're going to talk a little shop today. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I'm good. Thank you so much.
All right. So what's good in your world? What's bad in your world? What's working? What's not?
I mean, everything's good, to be honest. Right now, things are really good. And I got a couple things in the works, new listing hitting the market. I did have an appraisal come in a little short today, and not a little, it was 30,000 less.
Wow. How did you handle that?
Well, I'm representing the buyer, and they are moving from Oregon. Literally, the moving truck is coming tomorrow. So it was kind of a lot of pressure. It's an elderly man. He's retired. He's in his 80s. So I felt a little extra pressure to get it done. However, I was able to get the sellers down that 30K and keep this baby rolling.
That's good. So that's actually a good segue because right now in the industry, there's a lot of negotiation going on. Price, seller credits, buy downs. You got to be a negotiating artist. They didn't tell you that when you took your real estate exam. You got to be really good at negotiating things.
For sure.
Because the market has changed quite a bit.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I'm going to share my screen so people can understand the buy downs because it's a popular subject now and everybody's asking about it. So I want to kind of do a brief dive. I won't go too deep into it, but just enough so people can understand. And then do you have any open houses coming up this weekend or anything?
I do. I'll be in Sun City again, my cute little place on Royal Oak, just off of Thunderbird in like 99th area. You can always find me on Facebook under Aimee Oestreigh, looks like ostrich, and Aimee Oestreigh _19 on Instagram. I posted on there, and then I always say like DM me for the address, but gotcha. Always rocking an open house, that is for sure. All
right, so let me do this little thing. All right, can you see this screen? The seller buy down. Can you see that?
For sure.
Yep. Okay, cool. So look, folks, I'm going to briefly go through this. Obviously, if there are any realtors out there or people who are interested in purchasing and are curious about this can be easily sent to you and customized to your numbers. This will be simple math. So it'll be based on a $225,000 loan, which you couldn't buy much today with that, but it's just for simple math. Okay. So essentially what we have is as interest rates are rising, or we're in a market where interest rates are high, seller buy downs are coming back around. So you need to know what they are, both realtors and buyer. So what is a buy down? There's two types. There's a permanent buy down where you pay points, permanently buy down an interest rate, like points. You might hear that as points. Then there's what we call temporary buy downs, where basically we temporarily reduce the mortgage payments for the borrower. This happens because the seller offers a credit that will reduce the payment and interest rate for a buyer for either the first up to the third year of their mortgage. The seller only needs to provide the credit and the lender handles the payment and interest rate reduction. So if your head is spinning, don't worry. I have a cool little example here. And this is based on a 7% interest rate. Right? If you did that, there would be 0 points required to get that because that's pretty high and that's where rates are. Cost of seller would be nothing. If you wanted to go 6 5/8, the cost to the seller would be 3/4, and that will cost the seller on this particular loan amount $1,687. So essentially what the seller is doing is paying the difference between that 7% and the 6. So let's go all the way down to 6.5. Points required would be like 3 points. So the seller would contribute, in this case, $6,750. All right. And that's essentially what happens. So I'm going to cruise back up to this one again because it's really simple. Now, real quick point I want to talk about that you cannot exceed the maximum seller contribution for whatever the loan program. So each loan program has a certain amount you can do. I'm not going to get into that again because we want to just stick to basics. Now, you can always have me do one specifically to yours, so I'll tell you exactly what you can do. All right, so I'm going to go into how it works a little more. So we use the example of 7% interest rate. All right, your example loan amount is 225. A normal 30-year fixed principal interest would be at that payment 1496. When the seller credits a buyer with a subsidy, this amount is applied to the monthly payment in years 1, 2, or 3 to reduce the buyer's initial monthly payment. This strategy helps buyers ease into their house payment, frees up funds for other things that would normally have gone to the house payment. So this is a great way for people to get in the door while we navigate these rates. Again, another example of that buy down rate, 5% in the first year. Your principal and interest is $1,207. Monthly reduction is $289. That goes in the escrow account. That total amount for the year would be in the escrow account, and that's the amount that will be paid. So you really be paying this full amount. But it's not coming out of your pocket because the seller has already contributed that to you, okay? Second year, rate goes to 6. This is basically on a 2-1. So it would be 6% the second year. If rates haven't moved and nothing has happened, you're still coasting at 6%. And then obviously the final one would be at 7%. And you can see where the rate goes back up, okay? All right, moving along. This is another quick example. Price reduction, because a lot of times buyers will say, just reduce the price. And you can see here, and I'm not going to go into this too crazy because this is a specific example, but you can see how when you do the price reduction, the seller's net closing costs after what they get after that is going to be $261,205, right? But when you do a buy down, the seller credit is $4,700 in this scenario. So their net is a lot higher, $26,500 and $300. So essentially almost $4,000 more by allowing seller funded buy down. So this is good for realtors and clients who are looking to, sell, and they're like, I don't want to do a price reduction. So again, we can go into individual situations as they come. Here are the type of loans really quick: conventional, FHA, VA, USDA, and there are a couple other specific programs which I didn't put here. All right, so you might say, well, how do I do this? What's better? That's where I come in. That's where Amy comes in. We review the numbers with the seller. She goes out and put that great negotiation hat on, and I give her these numbers. She goes in, and we figure out the best option. This helps both of you guys. So that's just a quick, super quick, fast, high level. But again, we can do this for any price point you have. And we can get this set up for you so you can see where you would be at in this scenario. And this is a quick PowerPoint that I could make for anybody. So that is how that works. So any questions on that? I know that was kind of fast, but any questions on that?
No, it makes so much sense. It really does, especially if you're on the selling side.
Right. And we're helping people get in right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Other things.
And I love when people say it's not a good time to buy. And I'm like, yes, it is.
It's a very good time.
Yes, it is.
Yes, because you can do these things now because we're in a very high interest rate situation, and there's not a lot of buyers out there. So there's a lot of pressure. So this is a good way to keep some more money in your pocket and allow the buyer to get in. And you can think of you being a great Samaritan, you're helping the person get in. So right now people are like, oh, I can't afford that. Yeah, you can. So we have to keep spreading the word. What are you noticing out there in your day-to-day that you're seeing that you can maybe just debunk a myth right now, besides obviously I can't afford it?
The big one, of course, it's not a good time to buy. And I completely disagree. It is such a great time, because if you have somebody that can represent you, that knows how to negotiate, it's the best time to get in, because you're actually going to get a better deal, in my opinion.
Gotcha.
So if you're able to purchase a home right now, I think it is the best time to buy, and you're going to get a better deal. I hear a lot that's basically the biggest one. Nobody's buying right now. Well, yeah, we're still selling houses. We got closings every week, every day. There's still things moving. It's just, especially with taking a listing, it's just making sure that you're pricing it correctly and setting that seller up for those expectations that It is not like last year, the beginning of last year, I should say, and things are not leaving the market within the first weekend or the first 24 hours. It is taking a little bit longer. However, if it's priced properly, then it can go in the same weekend or the first week. So just finding that right representation for your needs.
And the crazy thing is, what people don't realize is when they wait, there are going to be more people who come back in the market because once rates start going down, people are going to get the message. Now you're back in that competition, and the seller's like, well, I don't have to do a buy down now because I got 10 people in front. And maybe you don't have those extra funds to compete. So this is definitely a good time to buy. What do you say to the person who is like basically going, well, I don't know. I don't know what's out there. I want to live in a specific area. I just, I'm hearing a lot of things. How do you suggest they have a conversation with you? How do you suggest they proceed first?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a conversation is, I mean, where it's all going to start. And I like to show, I had a client just recently, they actually just had their baby last week. They were looking not to purchase a home till August. However, I could tell that they were really interested in a couple properties. So I got them out there. I knew they were qualified. So I got them out there. I'm like, let's just go take a look. Like, what's that going to hurt? Got them out there. Of course, they love the property. They wanted to put an offer in. Unfortunately, they had their baby and all thing is good. So they just took a little step back for the first week. However, we're hitting the pavement again next weekend. So it's like when people kind of show that, like, I'm just going to hold off a little bit. I'm like, why? Because it's so good. Like if you're with somebody that knows how to go negotiate and get $30,000 off week before we close, that's it's buying power. Like that's where it's at. And instead of last year, this time it was a selling power, and you were going in with higher offers, and you were going 20, 30,000 over asking, and still not even possibly getting it because there's so many offers. So this market, not only do I think it's such a great market, but it feels better as a realtor. I feel like I'm getting my people better deals because I'm able to negotiate versus let's just throw this out there and see if it sticks type of a thing.
Gotcha. What are you seeing more deals like conventional, FHA? What are you getting right now?
Mostly conventional.
Mostly conventional. And what are people
Yep.
putting down? Because that's a big question. Like, are people putting down 20%? Are you seeing people slide in with less?
I've seen a couple slide in with less. Majority are going to be the 20. And that's just depending on, people's specific needs. Like some people are able to and some are not. And that's where you come in, where you can help them figure that out. And that's
And
what
I'm
works best for
glad
them.
we're talking about that because guess what you can do with that seller buy down? You can do a paid in full mortgage insurance.
Yep.
So there's options with that seller buy down. Like I said, we're just scraping the surface tonight. We just wanted to go over a few little things, but there are so many options. So it's good to consult with, obviously start with your lender first, get with your lender, see what you can afford to buy so you're not wasting people's time. And then once we figure out what you can buy, then I can negotiate with Aimee and say, hey, this is where they at. Here's what they bring to the table. But then we can work magic. So it works out for everybody. So,
Sure.
yeah. And now, are you recommending people still in this market bypass the inspection or appraisal? Or are you saying, no, stick with that?
No, I think I've learned in these last 2 weeks, I actually lost um, the contract last week because of an inspection. And to be honest with you, it was an inspection that I was never used to. It's something that you typically don't do until it's like, if it's an older home. It was very enlightening. I definitely learned a lot during that inspection, and it wasn't just your typical inspection. Yeah, no, I still say inspect because you just never know. I mean, you need to know what you're buying, like 100%. You need to know if the roof is good, if plumbing's great, like all those things. You definitely want to know what you're buying. And definitely an appraisal, especially after today, because without that, they would have paid $30,000 more than what it was worth. Like,
Well, and also too, we're only going to lend on what it's worth. So
yeah,
that
for
you're
sure.
negotiating to. Guess what? It's only this. So you're either going to
It's
change the
all
price.
tools. It's all tools. It's all taking you back to that negotiating from the very beginning when you first put that offer in. It takes you right back to it. And so they're great tools to have.
Cool. All right. So what's the type of buyer that you like to work with?
I'm kind of all over the place. I like them all. The first time, like these new clients that are just having a baby and they just got married. Like I love that because it's like, I'm gonna be their first realtor ever. So that's really special. But then I also enjoy the you know, I have a couple listings in Sun City, so I enjoy the Sun City folks. They're so much fun, and I get to get some wisdom from them because they definitely have more years on me. And those middle-aged folks like myself, I obviously can relate to them. So I'm kind of, you know, I don't know if I have a specific one. However, you know, I like them all. Bring them my way.
So let's say somebody's watching this and they're thinking of having you list their house. What do you do different that makes you stand out when you're listing a home?
Well, I think one of the biggest things is the team that I'm on. So I'm on the Wexler real estate team, and we're a big team. James Wexler is one of the most amazing human beings you'll ever meet. I am very, very grateful to be back on his team. So I was on his team many years ago, had a baby. We couldn't keep up, so I took a step back, and I just recently went back. It's been a little over a year now. And the best decision I've ever made, both times, to be honest. However, with that comes the social media is bigger because we have a really big team. And we also, because we have a big team, open houses, we're pushing those open houses. That's one of the biggest things with James is he's very big into the open houses. So we're definitely pushing that marketing and open houses. I feel like at a different level. And also, yeah, those are our biggest things for sure.
All right, cool. And so if people are interested in linking up with you to discuss real estate, where do they find you?
So I'm on Facebook, Aimee. So first name is spelled a little different. It's Aimee. And then my last name looks like ostrich, but it's Oestreigh. And it really does. And then on Instagram, it's Aimee Oestreigh _19. And you get to a little bit know about me as far as like I'm a mom, I'm a single mom of 3, and I'm also a businesswoman, a real estate agent, and I balance both and juggle them all. And when I'm at my daughter's softball game today, I'm submitting offers from my lab. So, you know, this is what you do.
Nice, nice, cool. So I got a little something for you because I knew you were gonna come on. Tell me if you like this song.
Oh God. I already know what it is.
Can you hear it?
Not really.
You heard
Yeah,
it?
I've heard it. Yeah. I think it was in high school when that came out, maybe middle school.
I'm just busting your chops. That song, I don't even know what the name of that song is, but I always think of you when I hear it.
Why?
Well, because it's just, listen to it, it's the best.
Is that what you think of when you think of me?
Like this, bumping this.
Anyway. I'll take it. At least it's not something like, you know.
All right, Aimee, I appreciate you spending a few moments with us, and
Anytime.
Yeah, have a good night, and we'll see you soon.
Absolutely.
Okay,
bye.
bye.